You guys, this is a pretty bad situation. Man, I don't know what to do now. Holy smokes, you guys. Just may have escaped having to call in for rescue, and we're not totally out of the woods just yet. Split Mountain Dinosaur National Monument. It has been a steady climb up a pretty darn steep grade here, man. Pretty loose. It's been mostly like this everywhere up here. It's kind of tough riding, but man, look at that view. The Green River coming from down there. Oh God. Whoo. All right, I found it. One of the holy grails. Wow, dude. Manzanita groves everywhere. And about 2,000 or 3,000 foot cliffs. Pretty epic, dude. Prime campsites all through here. And right over there is the little teeny town of Dinosaur and the Colorado border, somewhere right over there, just to the east of where I'm standing. Righteous, dude. Out here amongst the sheep grazing. Isn't that nice? So check it out. I've not been filming this whole day because, I don't know, just trying to get out here and enjoy myself. But this is the first time I've ever not been able to get my bike upright. It's because it's so slick, super slick. Yeah, cells are kind of hairy, huh? Particularly with lightning coming out of them. Let's see if we can get the hell out of here. Well, here we are. Google Maps naturally leading us fucking astray. And oh my God. Had to come out through the no trespassing. So that's been super awesome. It's been a couple miles of these ruts and just got into the deepest, sloggiest stuff right up there. I wasn't even sure we were going to get out. No question, if I was on the street tires, we would not have. But the battle axe has proved useful once again. I am hoping that just up and over this bend here, it's back to the main road. So we got one last little crux here. Just gonna duck walk it through there, keeping the speed up, and hopefully that's the last of it because I am about fed up with this adventure. All right, guys, we made it through that one. Really no problems, but right around the next corner, here we are, dude. And I am so far committed on this. There's almost no way I want to go back. I mean, holy shit. So what are our options here? We're gonna have to off-road this thing. Is that even possible? How many more of these are there? This has turned into a proper dicked up situation for sure. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do now. Holy hell. Got a creek crossing right through there. It's not going to serve us very well. Oh, man. Careening down through that is not an option. Working right through here is not very conducive. I don't have a shovel. This is becoming a proper fucked off situation for sure. I don't know, man. It's a mile and a half further to the main road. And the main road should be basically the road into the park, probably the hardstand highway. The only question is, if I spend the next half hour to getting through this, am I going to have 6 more of these over the next mile and a half? And the rain may come on us. Going back that way is going to be an absolute bear because for the most part it's uphill through a lot of that stuff, and I'm working on about 3 to 4 miles worth of slick stuff at this point. I don't even think I can walk through here. Yeah, I think we're in for a pickle, man. I don't know. It's a long way back through some treacherous terrain. Nothing more than a ditch right here that's undrivable, so oh my hell. What to do? You guys, I may be making a mistake, but I'm gonna bring the bike up through here, carve out a small path through this one edge. Fortunately, it's downhill, but dude, if can't get through this, if I can't get through that way, having to come back through here could be a pretty big problem. You have to call for a rescue, a pickup or something, but I'm gonna get the bike through here because it's just too far back to go and the rains are coming, so holy shit. You guys, this is a pretty bad situation. All right, we offloaded all the bags and it's going well. This is over 50 pounds worth of baggage for sure. So she's easily gliding right through there, but like I said, if there's more of these that way, we're gonna be in a bad way. Well, so there you have it. Gotta go up and get all the gear. Negotiated this one, but like I said, man, if there's many more of these, we're probably gonna be abandoning the bike and calling in for a pickup. So let me load up the bike once again and see what the next ridge brings. I'll load it up, hoping to make it up there and not have to come back and face this. This started out as a pretty awesome and fun and exploratory day. Not so much anymore. But I will say, as long as we make it to the highway with ease from here out, it won't have been too bad. You know, we did pretty damn good. This is the last little mud pit. Took a little detour and doggone, wouldn't you know it, toppled her over right here, crossing out of that rut. All right, so there it is. I can see the highway, the hard stand road. But looks like we got a little bit more rutted road ahead of us to get to it. And a little bit of a low ground, so let's hope for the best. Woo! You guys are not going to believe it, but we made it. Absolutely ridiculous, dude. Guess what? It ain't over yet. But I'm pretty sure we can negotiate this, thank God. And if they got equipment all the way up to there, then the road ought to be clear from there back. Let us hope. Holy shit, man. I'm gonna sit down and talk about a lot of lessons learned on this little outing here. Don't take things for granted. Don't just assume. Oh my God. Okay. All right, we got around that without really any problem at all. But my God, I got up here to this little notch, and thank God they plowed up till here. Holy hell, you guys. Would have been totally screwed right here, man. So surely they've plowed up through here. Surely. Oh my God. This is unbelievable, dude. Potentially being landlocked inside the National Monument. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Please let us get back through here. A lot of lessons were learned on this one. And let's see if we can make it back down to the highway. All right, so that was a bust. So we're back on the hardball road here, which I am assuming the gate at the visitor center entrance to the National Monument is going to be closed. So I'm not sure how we're going to negotiate that. Hopefully there will be a park ranger there, or it'll be a short enough gate I can slide the bike under it somehow. But this all started out as just trying to find a cool route up to the top of that mountain ridge over there, which we did in the beginning of the day, and it was pretty gnarly. But gosh, it was sure refreshing right there at the top. From there, it was supposed to be a simple traverse across, a little bit of the ridge top. I've been out there before in my truck, and then kind of meander your way back over here to the paved road. Turns out it was anything but a simple journey, and it's not over yet, but the temperatures are finally starting to warm up, so I got a lot more than what I bargained for on this little journey. So let me share this story with you guys. Joyous surprise around every corner. We're still 5 miles from the highway turnoff, but yep, they've got the road closed. I hope this is the only gate. Hopefully they allow people to drive up to this point and we can sneak right through there, no problem. And otherwise, it would be a bit of a trick to slide this motorcycle underneath that gate. Let's hope there's not another one. Good grief. Well, holy smokes, guys. We made it back. And Donna performed pretty damn well. Oh, it's good to be back to the comfortable garage now. And I wasn't even that far away, honestly, but I was about 80 or 90 miles from here. Yeah, what shouldn't have been too big of an event could have potentially been a pretty harrowing experience. So talk through some of the things I learned on this. First things first is I rely heavily on this thing, the Garmin InReach, and a subscription. I think it was about $450 for the unit and $15 a month. And many months go by where I don't ever turn it on, but always having that available is key. So kind of don't leave home for anywhere without that. If I didn't have that thing, you know, I would have a whole lot less confidence in being out there. So in my mind, if I could just make it over to the paved road, then chances were that somebody would come by. That was absolutely not the case, and I was totally mistaken with that. Man, that was quite the experience though. I mean, I got pretty nervous at the top up there, and in all honesty, if it had gone badly, I would have certainly been 25 miles plus away from, you know, hiking out back to civilization. So I wouldn't have been that far from cell service though. I just would have had to hike over a few miles to the ridge. But with that bad weather setting in, that wouldn't have been very pleasant. So it wasn't too dire of a scenario, but it would have been not ideal, that's for sure. So, here we are at the mid to end of May. So June's just around the corner, and you know, we should be on our way into summer at this point. And I looked at those mountain ridges from down below, and there was snow up on the tippy tops, but it didn't look too concerning. And in my mind, having been through that region before a few years ago, I really thought that passing through that snow region would have only been about, I don't know, 4 miles or something. But dudes, as I got to the top up there, it was a problem. And so anyway, just to make this quick, the lessons learned for sure are, don't assume that the highway into the park like that is going to be open to traffic, having been plowed and serviced. If there's any sign of snow around, then you better verify that the highway that you're assuming is open, because by hell it was not. And that was problem numero uno. Of course, this was just a quick day trip. I had to be to work tonight, and as such, I really don't have a whole lot of camping gear on there. I don't have a sleeping bag or anything, or really anything of a shelter. I've got the rain fly for the tent and a small blanket in there, I guess, but it would have been quite the situation if I had to stay the night up there. But another thing about it is, as I was talking about on my that last video where it was the most difficult stuck I've ever been trying to lift the bike up, miles and miles and miles of ruts, what had been carved in by mud, by trucks during muddy, rainy conditions, are just a bear. They're a bear even if it's dry out, but if it's remotely wet, slippery at all, it's so unpredictable, and I just cannot stand riding through ruts like that. I mean, the next big hazard would have been, of course, you know, injuring yourself, injuring your ankle or something like that. And I did bash my shin pretty hard onto one of these bars, but so an injury and or mechanical breakdown, you know, a flat tire or some other problem that high up and that far back when you're just rolling solo on what's supposed to be an afternoon ride, not necessarily the best scenario. And so lessons learned are, make sure you take your communication device. I did tell somebody where I was going, but make sure you tell somebody where you're going. If you're assuming that the highway that you're planning to travel through is open and there's any chance that it might be closed, you better check to make sure that it's open. The distances that you think that you're familiar with, you're probably well off, way off. So I was off by like 15 miles. I probably crossed over the top of that ridge for 12 plus miles. Fifth, Google Maps will route your ass right through private property. Thankfully, none of the gates were locked. They were all open with just a latch. But by the time I reached the first gate, I was not going to go back through that ascent or those muddy stretches, those first muddy stretches where I had such a bear getting down uprighted. Number 6, just if there's any chance of snow, just don't go. Unless you don't be on a route that you're fully committed into and then be stuck with snow, because I was pretty much committed to descending through that. And it wasn't super gnarly downhill terrain, downhill trails, but it was just enough that going back in reverse for about 3 or 4 miles through really slippery, sloppy ruts would have been a total bear. And so I was pretty well committed at that point. Partly committed because I also didn't want to go back and travel back down the fairly steep, loose, craggy shale climb that took to get up to the top of the ridge, where if I had quit earlier on, that would have been probably the better solution. But yeah, snow up there, you can always count on wind drifts, unseen snowbanks. And dudes, if they hadn't parked that equipment where it was at my first snow crossing on the highway, that was like 16, 18 miles. No, I think it was 22 miles from the highway. If they hadn't at least come back up there with that equipment that they had and reached that first one that I was able to bypass, I've been screwed. I was totally screwed. And I don't know if I would have been willing to try to go back. I probably would have called for a rescue pickup or something. And but I was quite shocked when I got to the highway, and then it dawned on me, I'm like, oh God, I'm 20 miles in on a highway that no traffic is on. So way too many assumptions. That was pretty sketchy. And said a couple prayers throughout that one, and the good Lord provided by allowing a pathway for me to get back through. And boy, by the time I got back down to US 40, that was a huge relief. Oh my God. Hope to not run into that type of scenario again. Because it did end well, chalk it up to experience building, and kind of a fun story. Some cool photos and video. Not a scenario I'd like to repeat again, but one that I learned a lot from, and overall was generally a good time. But there was a couple periods in there where I was like, this might be my last adventure bike experience. This sucks. Dealing with those ruts when you're stuck. There's no sense in trying to negotiate around the ruts, because you're just going to end up getting sucked into the ruts in certain instances. And once you're in those ruts, there's nothing you can do but duck walk. And you're trying to not smash your ankles. And as that's continuing on for quarter mile after quarter mile after quarter mile, it's like, I'm not sure I really want to be doing this type of stuff anymore. Maybe it's time to get a Harley. I would like to have a Harley too, but that was pretty damn close to ending quite badly. I mean, the other scenario would have been I would have left the bike stuck somewhere in there, hiked back out to the road, contacted with my inReach device friends who could have then contacted the Forest Service, who could have come, or the National Park Service, who could have then come up the road, perhaps. Oh man, it was about to be a bad deal. And it was not too far into the backcountry, but just far enough. I tried to invite a friend to go with me too, and he was busy with work. And as I got about halfway through there, I was glad that he didn't come with. And then as I got about 2/3 through, I'm like, man, we'd be better off with a pair of us instead of just one. But damn, dude. It really didn't dawn on me though until I got to the highway. And then I realized, oh my God, I'm on an impassable highway. And I crossed through several drifts that they had cut out over the span of that 20 miles. Probably 6 or 7 that would have been impassable. So, wait till later in the season when there's no sign of snow up there or places like that before you commit to potentially a bad scenario. Anyway, hope you had a good one. Hope you liked the video, and we'll see you on the next one.